Hello and welcome to another episode of The More You Share, The More You Know. I'm Jocelina Hernandez with the Education Service Center, Region 19 here in El Paso, Texas. Today we're going to talk about a couple of Web 2.0 tools that you can use for actually any content area. We're going to be talking about Wordle, and I'm going to use it with AmericanRhetoric.com. So let's go ahead and go into Wordle.com. I'm sorry, Wordle.net. So Wordle.net is where you can paste content on there, anything that you have on there. You can type information on there, and what it'll do is it's going to create a word cloud for you of what you have on there. And so I need a lot of content on there. So I'm going to go ahead and go to AmericanRhetoric.com. This site has hundreds of speeches, of famous speeches of just about anybody that you can think of, particularly in the United States. I'm going to go ahead and go to the speech bank and look for a speech from Hillary Clinton. And it does go by first name, by the way. So I'm going to scroll down. You can see a lot of speeches by George W. Bush. So I'm going to go down to Hillary Clinton. I'm just going to pick speech, and you can use this in your classroom. You have a lot of uses for any of these speeches, but for example in this case you can play the video. So I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of the video here for you. Okay, this one looks like it's just audio. Some of them are video or audio depending on how old they are, but you can still hear them. But if you scroll down, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here, you're going to have the transcript of the speech that you have here. So obviously, you know, it starts with thank you all very much, etc., and a lot of them will start with a welcome. But if there's something that you want your students to see, what was the most important part of that speech, for example, that's what Wordle is going to do for you. So I'm just going to pick a section here. I'm going to go ahead and copy it and go back over here to Wordle. Remember, it's Wordle.net. I'm going to click on create, and then here it says paste in a bunch of text. So you can go ahead and paste, and again this is just a section that I grabbed from the speech from Hillary Clinton, and then I click go. It might take a couple of minutes, but notice that now I have a cloud of all the text. Notice that some words are smaller and some are bigger. The bigger words, the reason why they're bigger is because they were repeated the most in that section. So remember, if I had taken, for example, the entire text, what it would do is obviously it would create all those words, but you would see what was most important about her speech. Notice that here, American is one of the biggest words here. If there are any words that you want to delete, like for example, the, or in this case, let's say I want to delete the word air, I can go ahead and hit remove. I can just right click on it and I can remove that word air, and then it's going to redo everything else again. I have the options here. If I click on language, I can remove certain words. So for example, if there was a text that you have words in English and Spanish, you can remove the words in Spanish or in English or whatever you want. Then I can also decide to make all the words uppercase if I want, or all the words lowercase. So I have different options here. I'm going to go ahead and change the font. Let's say that I want that font instead, so I can change that. I can also change the layout. If I want to, in this case, they're all going any which way. I can change them all to horizontal, or mostly horizontal, or half and half if I desire. So I can do whatever I want with this, with the layout here. And then the last thing I can change here is the color. I can change the colors again. Notice that I had a black background. I changed it to a white background. I can change it to these different colors. And then once I'm done, I can print this if I want to. I can save it to the public library, or I can just take a snapshot of it, and I can use this in any of my presentations, for example. And I can have my students create some Wordle clouds, so some clouds, so that they can show me what was most important in maybe not just a speech, but maybe a text that they read, maybe a text that they're reading, anything that you have a lot of text in, you can see what was most important, because again, the words that are larger are the ones that are most important in that text. All right, well, hopefully this is helpful to you, and you can use it in your classroom. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of The More You Share, The More You Know. I'm Jocelina Hernandez. See you next time.